On this episode of Mythbusters,
Kill him!
Adam and Jamie are on an archery odyssey,
Spraying death upon all who oppose us.
exploring if the ancient Greeks jumped the gun by 2,000 years
You ready?
Almost. Now I'm ready.
and created the world's first machine gun that fired arrows.
Oh, hold on. Fudge. Baby hippos.
Sooner or later, we're going to run out of things to go wrong, and then it'll work great.
Meanwhile, Carrie, Grant, and Tori get a little tipsy for science.
Was that the rat? That was awesome.
And then stay awake for 30 hours straight
I'm getting tired.
to find out if commuting without your 40 winks is worse than driving after a few drinks.
Science sleeps for no one.
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage
I'm alive, right?
and Jamie Hyneman.
It's almost too exciting.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Joining them, Grant Imahara, Carrie Byron,
We have the best job ever.
and Tori Belleci.
Let's torch this thing!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
I got a good one.
What?
Arrow machine gun.
You mean like a modern machine gun, but it shoots arrows?
Yes, but far from modern. In fact, this design was built by Dionysus the Elder over 2,300 years ago, back when you were just a little tyke.
I remember it like it was only yesterday.
For the ancient Greeks, arrows were the weapon of choice. But did they create a contraption that could fire arrows like a machine gun? History says maybe, but the Mythbusters have never trusted history.
So what do we know about this device?
Well, historical documentation suggests that this device could fire an arrow 200 yards or 600 feet and was incredibly accurate.
What about rate of fire?
Historians generally agree that it could fire about 5 arrows per minute.
Construction?
There are some notes about specific areas of its construction that we have to follow.
You know what? This sounds like a really fun build.
I thought so too.
This build is tailor-made for the Mythbusters because although the history books list its 3 mythical criteria, no physical trace of the actual machine has ever been found. But will it live up to its reputation or turn out to be a Trojan horse?
The historical record is pretty sparse, really. It describes what amounts to an automatic crossbow that involves a crank, some sprockets, a chain, a spiral groove, and a drum that extracts arrows from a hopper and fires them until the hopper's empty. That's pretty much all we have to go with.
But sketchy details don't deter our machine mavens. In fact, for this ancient engineering challenge, they prefer it.
Now, given the time period, we can safely assume it would have been made out of wood, and we can also assume that they would want a stable platform to work off of, so the structure should be fairly large and substantial.
Yep, and while Adam knocks the wood together, Jamie gets to work on the heart of this weapon, the bow.
Well, the first question we need to answer is what propelled the arrows? We've decided to pick the simplest and most reliable option, which is a traditional heavy-duty recurve bow.
Adam's finished the body of the build, and to top it off, he's added a sliding arm, the first part of the repeating mechanism.
That's it.
It's not bad.
Then, with Jamie's bow in place, they string it together.
There we go.
You got it?
I'm in.
And now all Adam has to do is work out how their bow will fire, draw another arrow, and fire again.
Here's the problem I've got to solve. My slide has to go forward 24 inches, grab the bowstring, pull it back, and release it at a certain point. And I think I've solved the mechanism. This double thickness of plywood represents the 2 thicknesses I've got at the top of my slide. It will slide forward and positively engage my bowstring. Then it'll pull it back, until I've got a little bit of a riser in here that will get it out of the way. Now, I can't think of a reason why this won't work, so I'm just gonna build it.
No sooner said than done.
That's my catch. Comes over here, grabs the string, pulls it back, and there's a catch.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that cool? Gravity resets it. No springs, no mechanics.
It's an ingenious little solution that Dionysus the Elder himself would salute. But what's next?
The record says that the mechanism used sprockets and a chain to create the reciprocating motion required to make the whole device automatic. Given the fact that there were a whole lot of moving parts, we can assume that the sprockets, the crank, and the chain would all have to be very heavy duty to make the whole thing work.
And now that they have the power to drive it, Jamie adds a nifty, fully automatic reloading system,
Smooth as could be, no hitches.
along with an arrow hopper. Adam then adds a crank,
It's really nice. Really easy.
and the final threatening touch is a foreboding figurehead.
Let's put a little personality on this puppy, eh? Oh, yeah, look at that. That totally completes it.
With that, their devious device is complete. But how exactly will it wreak destruction?
This is how this works. We load arrows into the hopper like so. When I turn this crank, I'll also be turning the sprocket and chain, which engages the slide like so. When the slide starts to move, it engages a spiral groove which rotates the arrow delivery shaft, which pulls a single arrow out of the hopper and delivers it to the firing position. At the same time, the string is being pulled back, and at the exact moment the arrow falls into place, the catch mechanism releases the string and fires the arrow.
Well, that's the theory. And after 4 solid days of ancient innovation, it's time for the inaugural Arrow machine gun test fire.
Let's try it. Come on, baby. 1 away. Looks good. Everything looks in place. 2 away.
And it works, firing 3 arrows right on target.
It's working.
However, one sharp test does not equal success. For that, they'll have to go further afield.
All right, man. Let's head out there.
Okay.
Next, there's no rest for the Mythbusters.
Today's myth is that driving tired is actually more dangerous than driving tipsy.
Even more dangerous.
That's the idea. Apparently, being sleep deprived impairs the brain more than a couple of beers.
I heard that every year thousands of car accidents happen because people lose concentration due to tiredness.
Then that's definitely something we should look into.
Absolutely.
Drinking and driving is a dangerous combination. But could getting behind the wheel, sleep deprived, really be more risky than driving tipsy? Both are technically legal, but which is more dangerous?
Okay, so we need to design a course with all sorts of obstacles and hazards and various challenges. First, drive it tipsy, say just under the legal limit, and then again, really, really tired, like we stay up for 24 hours.
All right, well, one of us has to be the sober one, so why don't you two do all the drinking, staying up all night, and driving, and I'll figure out the course.
All right, well, before we start testing, why don't we learn a little bit more about sleep?
What are you gonna do, go take a nap?
I need a little practice.
Yep, before they hit the road, they want to know exactly why a lack of sleep could spell dangerous driving.
We've come to the UCSF Sleep Disorder Center so that we can investigate the science of sleep.
All right, Alex, we're ready for the sleep test.
Now today, Tori's our lab rat. We're going to hook him up to a polysomnogram so that we can monitor his brain waves while he's both drowsy and really well rested.
Can you tell me a bedtime story?
Okay, Dr. Clayman, what happens if we don't get enough sleep?
Well, you end up getting irritable. It's harder to pay attention to things. Your brain function is very different when you're sleepy compared to when you're rested and alert.
Indeed, because it's clear Tori's brainwaves when awake, surprisingly, are far more active than when he's drowsy. And for the purposes of our test, Dr. Clayman has one very important point.
I think if you're on a longer, monotonous section of road, you're going to tend to have a lot more trouble keeping your eyes open and focused. If you're stopping and starting kind of in city traffic, it's more stimulating, and so it'd be easier to cope with those sections.
Which means they'll need 2 separate test courses. One to replicate the constant stimulus of city traffic, and another to simulate a stretch of highway where straying out of your lane could spell death. And Grant's found a location where they can do just that.
We're here at the Alameda County Regional Training Facility EVOC course to set up our Tipsy versus Tired driving challenge. Now, by putting our drivers through various tests, we'll find out which is more dangerous, driving slightly intoxicated or driving exhausted.
Tactical driving instructor Paul Gerard will closely monitor how our designated drivers perform.
Hey, Paul, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So to find out just what Tori and Carrie are up against,
Ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
a totally sober Grant takes on the obstacle course
We're
first.
going to start with the maneuverability course. We're going to begin down this channel where we're going to cross a tripwire, which is going to trigger a green light, which will direct us down one of 2 lanes. Now this is going to challenge our recognition and reaction time. Once we've completed that task, we'll come to a full and complete stop.
And at that point, we will head down this hill into this S-curve,
These are tight.
Yeah.
hopefully not knocking over any of these cones. At the end of the S-curve, we'll be heading in to our straightaway, where we'll be getting up to 25 miles an hour.
After the straight, there's the slalom to test their steering. Then a tricky 3-point turn, and finally, parallel parking.
We're going to parallel park between these 2 cars. But that is still not the end of our test.
Nicely done.
Now begins the monotony course. We're going to do 25 long, continuous laps to simulate tedious stretches of road. That should cover almost every scenario, and we can find out once and for all if it's more dangerous to drive tired than to drive tipsy.
And as an added distraction to the obstacle course, they've added a very Mythbusters touch.
Never know what hit him.
At a secret location is a hidden reaction time test that Tori prepared earlier.
A rat. I mean, what better distraction as you're driving down a road, having a rodent cross your path? Now, I'm gonna be one of the test drivers, so why am I setting up my own distraction? It's kind of like building your own gallows. But just because I'm building this distraction doesn't mean I know when and where it's gonna be deployed. That's gonna be Grant's job. But the key here is we have to avoid these rodents. All right, that's it, my rat's done. Now it's time to give it propulsion. Rockets. That's right, rat rockets.
Okay, well, as distractions go, rats moving at rocket speeds certainly ticks the box.
All right, here we go. Rat rocket distraction in 3, 2, 1.
Eventually, with just the right amount of rocket,
In 3, 2, 1.
that will certainly rattle our drivers.
I don't know, I think that looked like a pretty good speed to me.
Did Dionysus of Alexandria jump the gun by 2,000 years and create an arrow-powered forerunner of the machine gun? Or is this myth just historical hyperbole? The Mythbusters are finding out. They've built their archaic archery prototype. But now to find out if it will fulfill its mythical criteria.
And now spin clockwise. It's so hard to find good slaves. Up. Well, this guy's worked in the shop so far, but that's not good enough. Now we need a field test. So we've come out to a field. We've got a couple 100 yards of space between our arrow machine gun and an appropriate Roman temple in the distance. It's time now to figure out just how far and how fast this thing fires.
This is the criteria by which we're going to judge our ancient arrow machine gun. It has to have a range of over 600 feet, and has to fire at least 5 rounds per minute, and it has to be able to hit a human-sized target. We're going to test its range first.
If I had to hazard a prediction, honestly, I have no idea. I think it's at least going to go a couple 100 feet, but a couple 100 yards? I don't think so.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
You ready?
Almost. Now I'm ready.
Nice hat.
Thanks.
Without further ado, Jamie cranks the crank
Firing.
and loses an arrow.
Holy crap! Dude!
Did it go over the top?
I don't think it went over the top, but it went way, I can't even see where it landed.
I lost sight of it. Let's go look.
Okay.
It's an impressive debut. And after a quick arrow hunt, the Mythbusters are even more impressed.
Here it is.
Whoa! Nice.
Looks like it broke right off at the head. I'm figuring it hit someplace up high.
We are 230 yards from our machine gun. That is absolutely in the range of battle-ready material.
Our arrow machine gun fired an arrow 690 feet, so it easily passed our distance test. Now it's time to test its rate of fire and its accuracy.
That's the first mythical criteria more than matched by their marvelous machine. So for the next test, they give themselves a little more room.
It looks good.
We gotta have something to shoot at, so I found this guy hiding in the bushes, and I figure he'd make as good a target as any.
Well, our lone Centurion awaits 280 some odd yards in the distance. We're about to load our arrow machine gun with all of these arrows and try shoop, 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 shoop to hit him. Okay, 10 arrows, fast as you can. Hold on, in 3, 2, 1, go! Away! Awesome. Oh! Hold on, stop, stop! For some reason, it didn't grab the second arrow, so we need to push this forward.
And if at first you don't succeed, try a quick reset and go again.
Go. Away! Toys for big boys right here. Stop, 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 stop!
But second time around, they hit the same snag.
You know what's happening is our catch isn't catching with the bowstring.
The suspect bowstring is tightened, and the test resumes.
Third time's a charm. 10 arrows, rapid succession, in 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, yeah. One's away. Loading, it's good. Yes. Third one. Come on, baby. Oh, it didn't catch.
Unfortunately, it looks like it's not just the string that needs fixing.
They're not firing rapidly.
It needs a little TLC, and we need to work out a few bugs.
I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is, from a distance standpoint, our arrow machine gun exceeded my wildest expectations. It would appear we've wounded Achilles.
No, it's not on his heel, it's on his, ball of his foot.
Its range is impressive and makes it a very good military weapon in ye olde times. The bad news is, the machine part of machine gun, not so much. The machine part was touchy. Hold on, stop, stop! It broke a few times,
Okay.
didn't fire as rapidly as we want. Its accuracy was all over the map. Clearly, we got to take this thing back to the shop and rejigger some significant parts of it.
The Mythbusters are taking a ride on the wild side. Finding out which is worse, driving exhausted or slightly inebriated. And they're starting with their Tipsy baseline test, under proper supervision, of course.
Deputy Nobrega, thank you so much for coming out and helping us.
You're welcome.
Now this is 45 milliliters of alcohol, and this is an average shot, and this is what we're gonna be using to get tipsy. Now remember, we're not trying to get drunk, we're trying to get tipsy, which means we need to be below the legal blood alcohol level, which is 0.08. Now a person my size, 170 pounds, I'm gonna need 3 of these within an hour to get tipsy. Now Carrie, she's a little bit lighter, she's gonna need 2 of these in an hour to get tipsy. But once we're at that point, then we're gonna start driving.
We're doing this experiment completely under the supervision of the Sheriff's Department. We're in no way advocating drinking and driving, and in fact, we're using this tipsy driving test as the yardstick for dangerous, because this right here is as dangerous as anything we do on the show.
It's dangerous, all right, and after her precisely allotted amount of alcohol, Carrie blows a .06 on the breathalyzer.
Tipsy but not drunk.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, we'll score you from out here.
And we'll be hiding behind the K-rails.
Good idea.
At just below the legal limit, a less than sober Carrie must negotiate the obstacle course at 15 miles per hour.
Oh, there's a cone.
Woohoo! 10 points.
And it's clear from the beginning that the alcohol has affected her driving.
Yep, got one on the corner there.
She hits 2 cones within 30 seconds. and then executes a rodent hit and run.
Was that the rat? That was awesome.
Her three-point turn is 1 extra point heavy.
God, this car's big compared to mine.
This is a 3-point turn, right?
Okay.
So you see her judgment there is a little slipping there. She couldn't quite figure out how much room she had when she turned around.
And the final cone casualty comes on the parallel park.
There's a lot of adding we're going to have to do here, guys. I think this is going to be interesting.
Me too.
Carrie made 7 mistakes on the obstacle course, earning 10 penalty points per error. But she's not done yet. Next, she has to drive her imitation highway lane for 25 laps. But how will they make sure Carrie stays between the lines? Well, with this handy device.
I have a sensor system that looks at these lane markers and knows if it's inside or outside. If they're over the line, a timer will automatically go off and keep track of how long they're over the line, and a light on the outside will light up so we can see if they're over the line or if they're safe.
Okay, 25 laps for the monotony test. 3, 2, 1.
I think that actually the monotony course is going to be the hardest part for them, because while you're slightly intoxicated, you're going to start to wander, and it's going to be tough to maintain that oval. One over here.
Every time the car crosses the line, both Grant's device and the follow car record it.
Left for a long time there.
Keeping in line is proving difficult for Carrie.
Oh, one over here.
But eventually, after 25 laps, it's time to find out just how difficult.
You're done. Stop. All right, so how did Carrie do?
Well, on the monotonous driving course, she crossed the line or went out of the lane 104 times.
What?
Yeah, with an elapsed time in danger of 58 seconds.
I feel like I was driving consistently the entire time inside the lines.
Carrie strayed out of her lane and theoretically into oncoming traffic 104 times, bringing her final tipsy penalties to 232.
Tell you what, myth confirmed, I'm a cheap date. Because I'm impaired very, very easily. I didn't actually have that much alcohol, but I'm kind of a lightweight. I was definitely impaired driving. I knew that the minute I sat in the car.
So with Carrie's impaired baseline complete, it's time for a tipsy Tori to take the wheel.
Perfect.
6.
Tori's approach is to will himself sober.
Be the car, be the car. Be the road, be the road.
And while it works well initially, a sudden surprise breaks his clear record.
Oh, I just killed a rat. I think the little bugger got under my tire.
But he does manage to pull himself together thereafter.
Now on to the 3-point turn.
As normal as I can be.
Okay, now hairpin turn and on to the parallel parking.
Focus, 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 focus. Don't crash. And we're in. Bang!
Tori has done surprisingly well on the maneuverability course, forfeiting only 20 penalty points. But now comes the boring part.
Sobriety.
Once again, Tori's progress is monitored by Grant and Paul in the chase vehicle.
I don't know, call me paranoid, but I think this white van's following me. Why is he following me? Starting to get dizzy. And I don't think it's from the alcohol.
25 laps later, and Tori's tipsy test is finally complete.
Oh my gosh, that was torturous. Right? I never thought it was gonna end.
You and me both.
It certainly was tedious, but how did he do?
Well, on the monotonous driving course, he crossed the line 4 times.
For a grand total of 1 second in danger.
Woohoo! The less than sober Tori did very well once again, bringing his final penalties to 25 points. But it's not all good news.
You know, I've got to say, watching Tori drive after having had 3 shots of alcohol is a little disturbing. He almost didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, I think on the surface it looks like that. There were mistakes made, and those mistakes in the real world would have been really significant. For instance, when we fired the rat out in front of him, if that were a car running a red light or a vehicle running a stop sign, he would have just plowed right into it.
With their Tipsy baseline complete, now all they need to do is sober up, lose some sleep, and then do it all again. The ancient Greeks weren't just swords and sandals. They also invented some ingenious war machines.
Good, good, good.
But did they create the world's first machine gun?
Good slaves, extra meat for everyone. Well, we got a bunch of work to do.
Yeah, we do. Let's get started, huh?
Okay.
The Greeks may have had centuries, but the Mythbusters have just 48 hours to perfect their weapon.
How does it feel?
I think it feels a lot better.
And first, Adam's got his sights set on its aim.
Back in my day, we could aim our arrow machine guns. We did it with wheels. That's right. We didn't just plop them down on the ground. We could find our enemies and bring the arrows to them. The death sprayers. That's what we were called. Yes!
These are my wagon wheels, and though they are properly ye olde and they look beautiful, they make me sad because this one is smaller than this one by about an inch. What am I gonna do about it? I'm going to take some steel and wrap it around this wheel and weld it in place until this wheel is the same diameter as this one, and thus our arrow machine cannon will not be cattywampus. That will make me happy.
Wheelwright Adam soon strikes the right balance.
It's ready.
The wheels are fitted to the machine, along with a giant lever to steer.
That's not bad at all.
Meanwhile, the Hyneman works on their reloading problem, spending the day ironing out kinks, adding the traditional lube, and cranking up the crank.
That's much faster than I was doing yesterday.
Can I get you a glass of water?
That's a workout, that's for sure.
Certainly is. And there's one more addition Adam's angling to make, an angle finder.
Let's do a test fire.
All right. How about at an angle that's probably going to give us a couple hundred yards of distance, about 15 degrees?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, and with their target in sight,
Good.
Jamie cranks up the tweaked machine.
Good. You hit a nice close bullseye.
Okay.
Let's just see if it loads again.
And to begin with, their changes are working like clockwork.
Good. Another one. Yeah! Oh, stop. Misfire.
Until they run up against their old friend, the misfire.
There's a problem inherent with something like this, and that is that it's got so many different moving parts that if any one little thing gets out of whack, then you've got a train wreck and everything breaks.
It's a trial and error process to find the fix. The guys first try restringing the bow.
What was that? I have never seen that behavior from this thing.
Then try adjusting the redraw mechanism. And finally, widening the arrow channel.
Arrow's loaded well. That's good. Keep going. That's perfect. One more. Perfect. Stop. That was 3 beautiful shots. I think we might have this thing on the ropes.
Oh, it's about time, huh?
With the hitches defeated, at least for now, the Mythbusters celebrate by making their magnificent machine a little more, festive.
Oh, that looks great. Awesome, ye oldie. When it comes to warfare, I know you want to walk in the blood and guts of your enemies. Who doesn't? Well, have I got the solution for you. Starting at the back with its ratcheting Z-axis aiming stand, its new comfort crank handle with the slip grip, cast bronze chains, all-terrain wheels, a 30-arrow hopper, 70-pound bowstring, and a lion's head that sprays death at every crank. Yes, it's the arrow machine gun. What more do you need to know? I think we're ready.
Well, let's go shoot some enemy hordes then.
Absolutely. Enemy hordes, here we come.
Sleep deprivation can be torture. But could commuting without your full 40 winks be worse than driving after a few drinks?
So we have tested driving tipsy. Now it's time to test driving tired. So we need to stay up all night long. So we've set up the shop with a few things to help us do that. We got a treadmill. This way we could run on it, get the blood flowing. Hopefully that'll keep us awake. If we get bored with that, we got ping pong. We'll play that all night. Plus, we have a lounge area. We got a TV, we watch some television, play some video games, and since we're doing this at night and we don't have heaters, it is gonna get freezing in here, which is definitely gonna keep us awake. Gosh, the more I talk about this experiment, the less I want to do it.
Well, that's understandable, because here's Grant with a disturbing graphic.
So the physiological effects of sleep deprivation are increased heart rate, irregular breathing, blurred vision, dizziness, yawning, nausea, and slurred speech. The question is, will these symptoms make your driving worse than when you're tipsy?
Well, there's no rest for the Mythbusters in order to find out.
All right, so it is now 9 o'clock. You've been awake for roughly 15 hours. You have 12 hours to go until you're on the road.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling good.
Maybe I'm being optimistic, but I think this is gonna be all right.
Good luck. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, see you in the morning.
Sleep tight.
Now what?
To make this test about sleep deprivation alone,
Oh my, that was awesome.
stimulants like sugar and caffeine are banned. Tori and Carrie will have to find other ways to stay awake all night. Our sleepless in San Francisco duo start the night with plenty of energy.
Well, the end of that.
But as the night wears on, the signs of sleep deprivation start to show.
1 a.m. I can tell that I've been up late because I'm starting to get a much deeper voice. By morning, I'm going to sound like Jamie.
And so far, they're not even halfway through the night. They'll still have to fend off sleep for another 7 hours.
Man, this guy sucks. Oh, good return. Damn it, he got a point. I'm getting tired. Yeah, that one never worked.
And at 4 a.m., our sleep-deprived pair hit the proverbial wall.
Wake up.
I was just thinking.
So let's look at the effects of sleep deprivation. Irritability,
I might kill Grant.
check. Severe yawning, check. Decreased reaction time and accuracy, definitely and definitely. Are you? I thought there was somebody behind me. Hallucinations, check. I am so tired now.
Suffering all the symptoms of sleeplessness, our deprived duo struggle through the early hours of the morning.
It is 6 a.m. We have now been up 24 hours straight. I'm starting to see cross-eyed.
Finally, at 7 a.m., Grant arrives with a welcome breakfast.
Good morning, you guys.
Oh, now I know we're truly tired. I'm hallucinating that Grant has food for us.
Dig in. We're gonna saddle up in a little while, and then you guys are gonna hit the road and start driving.
The Mythbusters are on the trail of a 2,000-year-old myth. Did the ancient Greeks create a machine gun-like device that fired arrows?
We've worked out the kinks, and our arrow machine gun is finally ready for testing. But what are we going to compare its performance to, both in terms of speed and accuracy? Clearly, we need a yardstick.
This is our yardstick.
Right now, Brady Ellison is the #1 archer in the United States. I figure that makes him a heck of a yardstick by which to judge the effectiveness of our arrow machine gun.
Time for the Army to move out.
The Mythbusters are taking on the 2 final criteria, but they're also adding another. Is the machine better than a bona fide archer? Because why bother if a human can do better?
So Brady, I need you to take out all 5 of our soldiers as quickly as you can. Are you up for it?
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it.
I know what you're saying. You're saying Mythbusters, our 3rd century BC counterparts, didn't possess equipment nearly as advanced as the one you're holding in your hand. How can you call that an accurate comparison to ye oldie bows? While this may look really fancy with all this stuff bolted to it that's shiny, the fact is, functionally, mechanically, It works effectively exactly the same as ye olde bow. So that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Okay, Brady, the enemies are at the gate. You may commence firing.
Ah, that's a hit. The blue guy is down. Onto orange. The orange guy's down. Time for the green.
Brady has obviously done this before.
A hit. Green guy is down. Red.
And although not every arrow is a direct hit,
Looks like you hit off to the side of the red. No, the red guy's not a hit.
using his super modern bow, it doesn't take long to deflate the targets.
Yellow is down. Red is the only one left. Yeah, that hit him. He's down. The red guy is down. You got them all. Nice work.
That was 2 minutes.
11 arrows.
5 kills, 11 arrows, 2 minutes. Well, we got our mark that we got to beat.
Brady's going to be a pretty tough act to follow. I mean, we're going to be able to crank out more arrows in a given period of time than he could, but they're probably not as accurate. So it kind of boils down to quantity or quality. Okay, that's it.
Well, with 20 arrows in the quiver, quantity won't be a problem. And with Brady on hand to aim, neither should accuracy.
Centurion Jamie, I spot 5 enemy soldiers blocking our way about 90 yards hence. Shall we take them out?
Awaiting your command.
Have at it.
Centurion Adam gives the command. The timer starts, and Jamie gets cranking.
Oh, that looks like a hit. The yellow one is down. Let's move to the red one.
And firing.
Oh, we hit the tunic of the red one.
Firing.
Oh, we got the red one. Go for the green.
Firing.
It's a promising start with the enemies falling swiftly to the death-spraying machine.
I think we hit the green. Let's go for the orange.
Firing.
Oh, the orange went down.
But with 4 targets down, suddenly the bow bows out.
We broke the bow.
How so?
The limb
They
broke.
split the limb.
No way!
I would back off. If that comes out, it'll flip towards you.
All right, here's the report so far. At 1 minute and 38 seconds with 19 arrows fired and 4 targets down, our limb broke. We are replacing the limb. We're going to start the clock again. And hopefully we're going to take care of this last blue intruder.
Yep, that's the plan. And with a new bow, they restart the clock and take aim.
Right. Go!
Firing.
Oh, so close!
That last guy is a devil. Firing.
Oh, wait, we have a problem. We have a problem.
Speed failure.
Once again, there's a hitch in the mechanism. But they still haven't given up getting that bolt into the blue.
Offending arrows removed. Clock is restarting again. Go! Good. Keep going. Arrows good. Oh, we didn't load that one. Wow, it didn't grab the... Fudge. Babies. Baby hippos. Let's start right up again.
Yet another failure.
Okay.
But the Mythbusters know a thing or two about persistence.
Whew. It's a little high maintenance.
That is, until the bowstring breaks under the strain.
Miss string.
We can't get that last dude.
So far, just about everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. We've had misfires, missed triggers, we've had string problems. Sooner or later, we're going to run out of things to go wrong, and then it'll work great.
Well, here's hoping, because the Mythbusters aren't giving up on this one without a fight. It's been a long time between naps for our duo.
Your driving would wake anybody up.
After 30 hours awake, it's time to find out if sleep deprivation makes you a worse driver than alcohol.
Turn the sun down.
And there's no doubt these two are tired.
So Carrie and I have now been awake for over 30 hours. And let me tell you, my heart's racing, my breathing is irregular.
You know that sound that the TV makes when it's just full of snow? That...
I'm feeling sick, so I'm pretty sure my immune system is failing. I haven't started hallucinating yet, but I mean, the day's just begun.
Kind of the only thing going through my head right now. think I might kill a few cones today.
Well, there's only one way to find out as our drowsy driver hits the road.
Hit that one hard, too.
As Carrie predicted, she has knocked down cones, but not as many as you'd think.
Looking a lot more cautious, though. You see how slow she's going now?
Yeah.
In contrast to her Tipsy test, Carrie is driving very carefully and maintaining the 15-mile-per-hour speed limit.
Yeah, she's kind of like a different driver now.
Very different.
This time around, she even reacts to and avoids the rocket rat.
Whoa.
And although she executes another 4-point turn, her parallel parking is better.
Wow, that was really good.
On the obstacle course, Carrie did slightly better driving sleep-deprived than Tipsy. But will she do as well with the monotony test?
All right, this is Tipsy versus Tired monotony course. Go.
A weary Carrie is finding the test such a yawn, it's hard for her to stay awake.
Cross.
Oh, way over. Over on the left.
And every time she slips towards sleep, well, let's just say the line monitoring device has its work cut out.
This has got to be like lap 100.
Eventually, Carrie has run the rings, and it's all over for her tired test.
That's it for driving tired. Good job, Carrie.
I had no idea how difficult it was going to be to drive tired. You know, I knew my reaction time would be a little slow, and it is, but I didn't really factor in things like yawning. Yawning squinches up your eyes start to water, and out of the corner of my eyes, cones would be moving. I mean, it was a crazy, crazy experience.
Crazy. But before we get to her final results, it's Tori's turn.
All I want to do is go to bed right now.
Compared to his relatively mistake-free run last time, he's making far more errors.
Oh, we hit one of the cones there.
That's a confirmed hit.
Once again, he mows down his rodent distraction. And on the slalom, even though he slows right down,
there's no tire noise or anything. He's just kind of creeping through the whole thing.
his steering suffers. He aces his three-point turn, and then it's on to
parallel parking without crashing into these sheriff's cars.
In contrast to Carey, Tori was penalized 50 points, more than double his Tipsy tally. But will his fatigue affect his driving on the stimulus-free circuit?
All right, here we go.
In the beginning, Tori is alert and driving well.
Science sleeps for no one.
Oh, he snuck through there, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was clean.
It was clean.
But as he loops the laps over and over, his focus starts to wander.
Oops, oh, nodded off there for a second.
Yep, just like Carey, Tori's tiny naps are forcing him across the line. And it's a pattern that's repeating.
The straightaways that give you that bit of time to relax, not worry about a turn, and that's when you doze off.
Eventually, after completing 25 laps, he can stop driving in circles.
Yeah! Dang, that was rough.
It was rough, but how much did the monotony get to our tired twosome?
I mean, you guys are plainly very tired right now. From 1 minute over the lines before to being over 5 minutes over the line, and you being 1 second over the line to suddenly being over 2 minutes over the line.
Wow.
It's a shocking result, but it's clear that both Tori and Carey made more errors driving tired, particularly when it came to monotony. Carey was 3 times worse, and Tori almost 10.
So it's looking like myth confirmed.
It's confirmed. Not only is driving tired as bad as driving tipsy, it's worse. Now, being tipsy is borderline illegal. It's incredibly dangerous. What we found is that being tired is even more dangerous than that. So if you have to take a break, if you have to pull over to the side of the road and take a nap, that's what you should do, because otherwise you're putting yourself and everyone else at risk.
The Mythbusters are no strangers to weird and wonderful weaponry. but most never lived up to their deadly mythology.
I'm standing right in it, and I'm not dead yet.
And after 3 aborted attempts at mowing down a 5-man Roman regiment, it's looking like the Arrow machine gun could be joining their ranks.
Fudge! Babies! Baby hippos.
But undeterred, the Mythbusters soldier on.
Ready to try this thing again?
Yeah, I was getting a little cranky, but maybe it'll be all right this time.
A little cranky? Nice joke. Let's do it! Kill him! Oh, so close! Grabbed and loaded. Oh, stop!
That's yet another failed attempt. But it does give the Mythbusters their eureka moment.
I would not have called this, but when you're bumping into this, it bumps the catch down and makes it miss the string.
Okay, I understand.
After you fire, maybe go just a little bit slow until it hits this, and then crank it.
Could the problems all be down to just a cranky crank?
Loaded and grabbed, it's good.
Well, to find out, they start the timer once again.
It's away! That's a hit! Move on to the next one. Loaded and grabbed. Oh, good hit on the red guy. Oh, that looked like a direct hit on the green. No, it's a miss. Go. Oh, that orange looks like a good hit. Come on. Last man left. Come on, he's getting closer. We hit the blue! The blue is dead! Ah! I'm gonna go eat something that was living.
The Mythbusters are finally triumphant, and they have their dead dummies to prove it.
We hit the blue! 15 arrows, 5 guys down. How long did that take?
1 minute, 50 seconds.
1 minute, 50 seconds. Nice.
Nice work.
Excellent aiming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 warriors, ancient warriors with an inflated sense of self-worth. Their cheap lives stolen by the 15 bolts of death that sprayed in under 2 minutes from our tiger's mouth. I, for one, am pretty pleased.
Our ancient arrow machine gun killed all 5 of our soldiers in 1 minute 50 seconds using 15 arrows. Now, our stated goal was 5 arrows per minute as per the historical record, and we were firing at a rate of 8 arrows per minute. Not only that, we were able to complete the task quicker than our archer. That's pretty good.
So, what's the verdict on their little tiger here?
Well, we exceeded all our design specifications.
Absolutely. Our range was fantastic, our accuracy was stunning, and our rate of fire was higher than anyone surmised. I think we got to call this one
plausible.
Plausible it is. So I swear, man, if we are ever invaded by an army of blow-up dolls, we are ready!